Hey guys, thanks for watching my channel. My name's Don, and if you're new to the channel, I try to keep my videos kind of tied in around senior fishing or bass fishing for guys that are over the age of 70. It's a hard thing to do because there's so many different topics I can get into that I kind of stray from time to time. Today I want to talk about the impact that I believe bass fishing tournaments have um, on fishing in general. So let me get on with it. I fished tournaments for a long time, probably 50 years. Started fishing tournaments back in the early 1970s, and I fished a few nationals, some regional, a lot of local, a lot of club tournaments, and I'm a pretty strong proponent of tournaments, but I wonder sometimes, what kind of an impact do they really have on overall bass fishing? So, when I think about it, one of the first things that comes to mind, particularly now, because I'm not fishing tournaments anymore, not fishing bass tournaments, and it's not because I don't like bass tournaments. I do. I love to compete. But, I'm 77, soon to be 78, and tournaments just gotten to be harder and harder. It really becomes a grind when you start putting in 8 hours out there on the water in all kinds of situations. And it's just, to me, it's just not worth it. Um, but I still fish, and I still fish quite a bit. And one of the things that I think where I've seen the impact from bass fishing tournaments is when I go out, particularly on a Saturday and Sunday, and expect to be able to get on the lake and do some serious bass fishing. I what I never stopped to realize, there's still bass tournaments going on. And as a result, most of the spots that I really like to fish, there's already somebody sitting there. Now, these guys, obviously, in a bass tournament, get up and get out there, pretty early. Usually they start at first light. Some tournaments start, at 7 o'clock or 7:30. But by the time I get there, which is usually about 8 o'clock, 8:30, maybe 9, uh, all the good spots are taken. So number one, that's one of the concerns that I have, as a bass fisherman, particularly a senior bass fisherman who just doesn't feel like fishing tournaments anymore. And then number two is the parking problem. I mean, how many times I've gone to the lake and again, I'm not speaking of just the smaller lakes because bass tournaments usually don't take place on the smaller lakes, but on the larger lakes, that have, uh, a reasonable amount of parking space, on tournament day, there's really no space to be found. And I'm speaking specifically about a lake that I fish quite a bit, which is Lake Istapoca. They just expanded the parking lot. They now have room for I don't know how many more boats and trailers. So it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be you'd pull in and there just was nowhere to park. You'd have to park up along the driveway coming in, which wasn't a real safe place to park. Now that they've opened up this second parking lot on the north end of the lake, there's more than adequate parking. But the problem again that I have, and it's only a problem that I have, is it's pretty good distance from where the boats are. So I mean, you drop your boat in, you go up and you park your vehicle. You got a pretty healthy walk to get back to the boat. And the two things there that are most concerned. Number one, I have COPD, so it's kind of hard for me to walk that far. I get out of breath pretty easy, and about halfway there, I've got to stop, take a break, lean up against somebody's car, and just rest for a few minutes. The other thing that I don't like about it is my boat is out of sight for maybe 10 minutes where I'm parking the vehicle and then trying to walk back to it. In and of itself, that's not a problem, but there's a lot of people wandering around that boat ramp. And, you know, wouldn't take long for somebody to just reach in there and grab a couple of my fishing rods. If I'm fishing by myself, that can be a problem. Uh, Fortunately, it hasn't happened. I've seen lots of people there when I pull up, and I worry a little bit, that it wouldn't take much to step into my boat and grab a few things. But like I say, it hasn't happened. Hopefully, it won't happen. But again, it's just an impact or it's an effect of bass tournaments, and really how bass tournaments affect me. I guess the third and final comment I would make is if there's a bass tournament taking place on a Saturday and you're out there fishing, there's a very good chance, aside from the fact that you can't get into the spots that you really want to fish, there's a lot of fish being caught. And when those fish are being caught, and let's just use as an example, prime time, maybe February, March down here in Florida, you got 50 boats, 2 men in a boat, or 2 people in a boat. And let's say the average boat catches 5 fish in a day. It's not unusual down here. Some boats will catch as many as 25 or 30 bass. But let's assume for the moment 50 boats, 2 guys in each boat. That's 100 fishermen, and they catch just five fish in a day. If you do the math, 100 times 5 is 500. And let's assume again that all 500 of them were freshly caught. They weren't fish that were caught, and then recaught 10 minutes later. So that's 500 fish. That's a lot of bass. Now, if I'm out there fishing and 500 fish have been caught that day while I'm out there, or if I'm out there on a Sunday and 500 fish were caught the day before, you got to wonder how much that's going to impact my ability to catch a fish. Now, it's true, bass will strike, often they'll come back and strike the same day. But it's been my experience that, especially the larger fish, they need a day or two to recoup. And in that process, you might want to say hello to Lily. In that process, the fish will go in and they'll just kind of rest for a day or two, kind of heal up. It takes a lot of energy when a fish, hits a lure and you fight that fish coming in. It takes a lot out of them. They've got to recuperate. So again, if I'm out there fishing on a Sunday and 500 bass are caught on a Saturday, kind of diminishes my odds of catching a fish. So I probably sound a little bit like a little bit of a whiner here. I'm sure somebody's going to offer me a little cheese to go with a wine. But the truth is, I'm a little selfish. I mean, I'm 77. I've fished all my life. I never gave it a second's thought when I was fishing tournaments on Saturday and Sunday and how it affected everybody else. And I never thought about it. If I did, I guess I didn't really care. But now that I'm in that age bracket, and now that I'm out there and I'm trying to fish at the same time bass tournaments are taking place, I can see the impact. I can feel the impact. So anyway, that's just my thoughts. I thought I'd share them with you today. If you have some thoughts and any comments, maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree, but got room down below to leave a few comments. I try to read everything that I can. I try to respond to it. So if you leave me a comment or two, I'll certainly get back to you. And if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll talk with you soon.